Okay, so today we're going to learn how to solve literal equations. And what literal equations are is they're equations that have multiple variables. So in this case, when we're looking at this, we're going to solve for x. That's the variable that we'll solve for out of the 4 variables that we see. Now this, right off the bat, looks a little bit complicated. But here's what you got to think about. A variable is really a number. If that's what a variable is, it's a number. So since a variable is a number, what we could do is, if we have no clue how to solve this, is we could split this into 2 sides. My left side is the side that doesn't, or my right side is the side that doesn't exist. Because I'm just going to plug random numbers in. So maybe A is 4. Maybe B is 3. We'll keep x the same since that's what we're solving for. And maybe D is 1. And then I will have my left-hand side, which is the real side. And we are going to try to mimic everything that we do on this side and see if we can get this side to be similar. So when I have this, I have 4 equals 3x minus 1, or plus 1. So the first thing I would do is I would subtract 1 from each side. Well, the first thing I do over here is I would subtract d from each side. So I'd have a minus d equals bx. And then over here, I would have 3 equals 3x. Well, now I'm going to think, over here, the next step I would do is I would divide by 3. So I divide those things by 3, and I would get x equals 1. Well, since I divided on this thing, let's divide on this. I divide by b, and I should get that x is equal to a minus d over b. And now I have x all by itself, so it's solved. This would be my final answer. So do you see how we can use a fake side to make this? Okay, so here's our second literal equation. It's a equals LWH. This time we're going to do something very similar, except we're going to try to do it without splitting it into 2 equations. We're just going to see if we can think through and think how we would get H by itself. And so the first thing that I see is we have L and W, and they're timesing H. So when I'm thinking through this, I would go, oh, how would I get L and W away from H? I should divide them. And we could divide them in 2 steps, but it's probably easiest just to divide them in 1. So we're going to take L and W and divide it on both sides. And when I do that, I should get A over LW is equal to H. And I should be done. Because again, we got H all by itself on the right-hand side. So we're good. So for the last one, this one we're going to solve for y. So I'm going to try to get y all by itself. And now we got some numbers in here, but we still have multiple variables. So my first step is to get all the variables on the other side. So let's get that x on the other side. So I'll go subtract 3x, subtract 3x. I'll get 2y is equal to negative 3x plus 10. So now I've got that on the other side. You could have switched that around too. We could have 10 minus 3x. I just always like to put the variables in front of the numbers if I can. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide by 2 so that this number can go away from the y. Divide by 2. Now when you divide this side by 2, you have to divide everything. So the 2 is going to affect the 10, and the 2 is going to affect the negative 3. So I should get that y is equal to negative 3 over 2, x plus 5. And this would be my final answer because, again, I have my variable that I was trying to solve for all by myself. Try some of these examples on that worksheet.